I'm back with another Chatty Work with me, and the topic of today's video is kind of around scammy YouTubers that resell. Am I one of them? Do I think they exist? And what are some of the signs that I think may indicate that I wouldn't trust someone if they're a reseller on YouTube? All of this stems from a really crazy, not okay experience I had recently with a viewer. So I'm going to start with that little story time, and then I'll segue into the second part. And on that note, I've got a timer here. It's set for 45 minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Also, usually I have the broader view, but for some reason my camera's acting really weird. And so if it's turned around, I can't see if it dies on me. I need to call Apple, but I just haven't had time. So anyways, I just got back from getting a new tire put on my car, and I stopped at a thrift store since I was out of town, and I picked up a few things. So I am in a steam, and if you are new to Chatty Work with me, that's all I'm doing. I'm working and I'm chatting about a topic for 45 minutes. And the goal is, there's a timer on the screen if you want to work with me, have at it. The last 15 minutes of this hour video will be me just updating you on personal life stuff if you like to follow any of that. So yeah, all right. So I did jot down notes. I honestly, I've got to like keep working. I honestly think that if I knew what I know today about YouTube, I probably would not have started. There are so many elements that I don't think you can prepare for or expect. And I am so thankful for YouTube, and I'm so thankful for anyone that views, watches, comments, likes, any of that. You know, I've had some really rough times in my life here on this channel or during having this channel. And it's an interesting component. I'm very introverted. And I'm very private. And so to have part of my life on the internet where my average videos get 13, 14,000 views, I put out 1 to 2 a week. That's a lot of people that I don't know anything about watching me. And this isn't a sob story of me, but probably the weirdest feeling of it is safety or security. And I think that there is what I would hope, and I think with most people, most viewers are so great. I meet quite a few when I'm out thrifting in Los Angeles. Some people send messages and they're nice. And I would hope that most people have common sense of it is kind of a weird dynamic. But there are some situations that occasionally happen that I feel like maybe that person's lacking some common sense, and it does feel really uncomfortable. The first time this happened to me where I felt really uncomfortable, and I don't think the person was meaning any harm, was someone was driving through my small town, and they sent me a message on Instagram and said, I'm driving through Tehachapi right now, and I got off the freeway so I could drive around and try and find your view to see where you live. And I'm like, that's not okay. I don't think she was meaning anything negative by it. I think she was just curious, and fortunately Tehachapi is very widespread. And maybe it was curiosity, I don't know, but there's something very weird about that. A complete stranger from the internet who is searching for your house, and you don't even know it until they're leaving and they say they tried to find your house. There was a time more recently where a regular viewer sent me a message, and I don't check my Instagram. I don't check a lot of my messages for at least a week. I don't see all of them. It's hard to juggle everything. And a regular viewer sent me a message asking if he could call my real estate phone number to have a conversation with me about reselling. And he just felt like, you know, having a conversation would be easier, and would it be okay? And I didn't see the message for probably a couple days. And when I saw that, I was like, no, I don't have a reselling phone number. I just share what I'm picking up and some, you know, reselling related things, but I don't offer one-on-one help. If you guys learn something while watching this, that's fine. That's the goal. That's how I learned reselling, is to watch others. But it's a lot of people watching me, and I'm trying to just run a business, have some work-life balance, and feel safe in my own area. And I don't offer one-on-one calls. And the real estate phone number is public because I am a licensed real estate agent, And I do have a YouTube channel for that. But if I wanted reselling calls, I would have that on my reselling channel, which I don't. So anyways, those were really the only 2 times I was kind of creeped out. I've never been creeped out when meeting people. Most people are so nice at like the bins or stores, and they always kind of usually say like, it must be so weird. I feel like I know everything about you. And I'm like, no, I totally understand. I met a YouTuber, a car camper, and the first time I met him, I had watched so much of his videos and I got nervous. I was like, this is so weird. I know about your wife. I know about your dog. I know like your cars and where you go camping. And it was weird. And so I understand that it must be weird if you watch a lot of my videos to meet me in person, but I am just a human being and I am out just working. So anyways, what happened? There was a call I got on my real estate phone number, and I have 2 different phone numbers. I have one that's business for real estate. I pay extra for that to have a separate phone number. So it's an A, local number, and B, so I can keep my personal and my business separated. And I got a voicemail. I was driving to my dentist, which is out of town, and I was on a freeway. It was very loud. I have spotty service. So I saw the call come in, but I couldn't pick up because I knew I would drop off the call. And so I just hoped that if it's a real estate call, they'll leave me a message. Sure enough, they did. And the message, basically, I'm sure I could have like screenshotted it because my phone takes the text of it. But basically, it was someone who shall remain nameless, saying they were calling from San Francisco. They were interested, and they gave an address of a for sale property in Tehachapi listed for over $1 million, which is very expensive for here. And gave the whole property address and said they were calling on behalf of their clients who were interested in this listing, and could I please call them back quickly? So I listened to this and I'm like, okay, when I get off the freeway, I will give this person a call. I'm very anxious about the dentist, so it's already kind of an anxiety-ridden day, but it's real estate. I get calls, from different people all the time. Not all the time, but often. So anyways, I got off the freeway. I was at a stoplight. I looked up this address that they had said, and that's when I realized, wow, this is a really expensive listing, but this isn't my listing. So I'm not sure why this person said, I'm calling about your listing. It's a listing by a different real estate agent. But either way, I thought maybe they had watched some of my YouTube videos. That's how most people call me from real estate on my real estate channel. So I called this person back. I was still driving to the dentist, but I was on City Street, so it was less loud. And immediately this person seemed very nice and said, now I do need to be transparent about something, and I hope that's okay. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And she said, well, I actually purchased an item from you recently on Poshmark. And so part of the reason I'm calling is about that. Now I will just finish this and then I'll go into the little research I did of how creepy this situation got. So this person bought a Pete and Greta cardigan from me. And this cardigan, which now that I think about it, I don't even think I have it pulled up on my... Do I have it pulled up? I don't think I have it pulled up on my... I meant to pull up the listing so I could read exactly how I described this. But Pete and Greta is a brand that is under Johnny Was, so it's an expensive brand. It's kind of a comfort, casual Johnny Was line. And Johnny Was items retail from anywhere from $100 to some really great items up to $500. So it's not high-end designer, but it's not cheap. So this cardigan I picked up, as I do everything at thrift stores or the bins. And when I got home, I noticed that it wasn't in the best condition. So she purchased this. I had it listed for $35. Keep in mind, all similar item cardigans from Pete and Greta are listed between $50 and $90. So mine's already listed substantially lower. And I got an offer for $21. Now, typically that's a lower offer than I typically accept, but since I knew it wasn't in the best condition and I was clear in the listing with that, I decided just to accept it. I didn't know it was a viewer. I didn't know anything about it other than I don't question things. Do I like selling flat items? No. Do I occasionally pick up items and I steam them and I realize this isn't in the best condition. That occasionally happens. Why do people buy torn up jeans that are just heavily distressed? It's a style. Maybe someone wants to upcycle this simple gray cardigan. I have no idea. People buy things in all different conditions, and it's not up to me. All I can do is control, you know, trying to be accurate with my listings. So I've got to now wait for the steamer to, so basically this is how I described this. Again, I listed it at 35. I have clear photos on a mannequin that's size 6. It didn't have a size tag, so I had measurements. I had it on a size 6 mannequin. I have the description, and then the condition is pre-owned. It doesn't say excellent. It doesn't say great. It doesn't say good. It just says condition is pre-owned with some light pilling on the inside, gray lining, and the front button area is a bit stretched. I said approximate measurements are in the pictures. Size tag was cut out, but the mannequin is in the pictures is a US size 6, and it fits great on the mannequin. So I'll try and insert a couple photos here if I can remember. So again, why do people buy things in not perfect condition? I don't know, but I did buy this to resell. When I got it steamed, I realized there was this stretching. I realized there was this pilling inside. I tried my best to disclose photos and to be accurate with my description. And I don't question why people buy certain things. So that's the item she was calling about. My real estate phone number. She went to the great lengths of looking up a house for sale in my area with the exact address. She lied on the voicemail saying she was calling from San Francisco on behalf of clients about this home because she knows she's calling my real estate phone number, and she knows if she left a truthful voicemail of I'm calling about a sweater I purchased from you and I want to know your thoughts on it, I wouldn't call her back because that's violating trust. I don't have a reselling phone number. If you have an issue, I don't sell directly through Instagram, through anything other than Poshmark and eBay for this reason. There's buyer protection on both of those platforms. And I want people to feel comfortable that if they are not happy with their purchase, if I am human and I made a mistake and missed a hole or something. Just the other day, I had someone open a return because during my anniversary sale, I sent out completely wrong shoes. And so she's like, I'm so sorry, I got the wrong shoes. I'm like, hey, I'm human. And out of 150 items that sold in my sale, I'm surprised I didn't have more issues because it's a lot. I'm human, I'm imperfect. And I try my best, but that's why I sell on these platforms. If something goes wrong, there is a return process, there is a case process. And I 100% hope that people know that that's within your right. If you don't think that you got the item that I described, you can open a return, even on Poshmark. So anyways, when I realized what she just said, I said, okay, this is my real estate phone number, and I will not be talking about items that you purchased on Poshmark. If you have a problem with a purchase on Poshmark, you need to contact Poshmark customer service. That is why we pay 20% in fees on Poshmark, because Poshmark has a customer service. It's not even reach out to me. It's just there is a process of how to open a return, or you don't rate the item, you don't accept the item, you say there's a problem. And of course, none of us want that to happen, and it's rare, but occasionally it does. Again, we're all human. But in this case, I was accurate with my description. And as much as it can be frustrating to buy something and feel like maybe you didn't get what you wanted, I very quickly told her that I know exactly what sweater she's talking about. I never said it was good pre-owned condition in my listing. I disclosed that there was pilling, and I disclosed it was stretched out. And if she has a problem, she needs to communicate with Poshmark. This is absolutely unacceptable that she is calling my real estate phone number. All she was asking was, yes, I just want to know, what did you think of this? Did you buy this new? This is really not in good condition. And I'm really kind of disappointed. And I said, well, if you are disappointed, you can contact Poshmark, but you have violated trust, and this is absolutely creepy. So anyways, I said, I'm going to the dentist. I'm getting off the phone. Do not call me again. So then I get home from this appointment, which is, again, an hour away from where I live, and I'm sitting in this dentist chair going, are you kidding me? Like, I would never, in my wildest dreams, ever do anything like that. And she did make a point to say, I've never called anyone from YouTube. That's probably because you shouldn't. you also shouldn't call one of them on a real estate phone number, not related to real reselling, and then lie about real estate just so you can ask them about your purchase. So anyways, I get home, I go to block this person on Poshmark, and she did go on to Poshmark immediately because she said, I wanted to leave you a 5-star rating. I like your videos. I said, if you aren't happy with the item, you can go through the process with Poshmark. I'm not expecting, 5-star ratings if you're not happy, but this was accurately described. And so anyways, she did go in and change her rating to 1 star. She did say that the ship time on the phone call was also not good, which, to clarify, she purchased it at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. I dropped it off at my UPS store Friday afternoon, so it didn't get scanned until Monday because business days. And it got to her by Tuesday. So it got to her 4 business days after she ordered it. She is in California. And when I went to go block her, I noticed that her name that she told me on the voicemail was completely different than on her Poshmark profile. In fact, her Poshmark profile actually has my first and my middle name on it. This is where it gets really weird. And this is where my local police force knows I've got YouTube channels and that I'm creeped out. Fortunately, I've got multiple retired sheriffs living on my street. So we are a very tight-knit community, and I mean, it's wildlife and weirdos that we look out for. So if there was any concern, I'm very comfortable here. But someone who creates a Poshmark account and has my first name and my middle name, not even close to theirs, and then goes to great lengths to try and communicate with me. She did say in her call that she tried to email me, which I quickly told her I don't have an email address either. I don't respond to email questions. I try to respond to as many comments on Instagram and YouTube as I can, but I can't get to them all. And if you emailed me my management company, which is my only public email address, and I don't get those emails. So again, you purchase something on Poshmark. If there's a problem with your Poshmark purchase, you communicate on Poshmark. You don't go to all these other channels. So anyways, I was sitting in that dentist chair and I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I got home and I realized the name thing, that really creeped me out. I blocked her. I didn't respond to Poshmark at all. Like she opened a case and I'm thinking I didn't do anything wrong. It says clearly on the listing, it's got pilling and it's stretched out. I have clear photos with good lighting. And again, most of these cardigans by this Pete and Greta are listed between $50 and $90. If this were in excellent condition, I wouldn't take anything less than $75, or $50. I certainly wouldn't take an offer for $21. I took a low offer because it wasn't in the best condition. But again, who knows what people are doing? Like, this is wrinkled. I get it home. I start steaming it. I might notice a flaw. Am I just gonna not sell this item? Sometimes I redonate, but sometimes if it's okay, I'll sell it and I'll just try and disclose everything that I see. So anyways, moral of this story time is it is 100% not okay to do something like that to someone on YouTube. I don't care what you think. If you think you're a good person, there's something very wrong with that. You lied in a voicemail to try and get me to call you back about $1 million listing in my area. You went to great lengths to look that up. And all of this was for a $21 item that you purchased that was clearly and accurately described on Poshmark. And I sit there and I think of, like, recently I bought a Cozy Threads box and I compared it to a ThredUp box. And in that video, I said I was disappointed. And in that video, I went back and I emailed the customer service like, hey, can you send me the original description of this box that I purchased? And I read on that, okay, it kind of lines up with what they described, but they also said I was going to get mid-level designer, and maybe I was focused more on that. I was disappointed. Did I call them and ask for a refund? No, because although the condition of the items in the box wasn't great, and I was disappointed, I still got my money back with ad revenue, and I'm not going to call and complain to them because technically, just because it's not a good buy for me, or that box wasn't, their description was somewhat accurate, with the exception of they shouldn't have a mid-level designer if they're not going to put any mid-level designer. But that's a whole different thing. So I understand what it feels like to be disappointed. You buy something online, you get it. Maybe it's like you buy it from Amazon, and you get it and it's like this really terrible quality, but it looks so cute on Amazon. Let me know down below if you've ever had one of those purchases, because I certainly have. I'm like, oh my gosh, how cheap of a material can they possibly get? Anyways, so that was my situation. I 100% This person lives in California, and honestly, I will be taking the full name and address to my local police force to let them know, hey, I had this encounter. They already know I'm on YouTube. They already know I have 3 channels. And just recently, my neighbor, one of my neighbors, a retired sheriff, texted me one day because someone was on my property. He's like, hey, Courtney, he followed this car, got the license plate number, and then called his buddies at our local police station, and had them run the plate. It ended up being someone who I was going to get a quote from work to do a project at my house, like a financial quote on how much it would cost to get something done. But that's how great lengths we will go. So I'm going to take this person's name, address. I'm going to take it to my local police force and say, hey, I had this situation. I just want this on record in case anything ever happens. And they'll keep it. I mean, we are it's 2,000 people that live in my community. Everyone knows each other, for the most part. So I also just can't seem to get this steam. So I'm going to pass on this because I want to move on. So anyways, that's the situation. I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of talk about I try to be an honest person. And I think the majority of resellers that I watch and follow on YouTube are honest, genuine people. Are they perfect? No, we're all human. Now there are some that I'm not going to name names because that's just, it's more just like a gut of, okay, I don't really like how they do this, and this. It kind of seems like they're just trying to take advantage of viewers or constantly asking things of viewers. But there are a lot of good resellers on YouTube that mean well. And I think I remember going to eBay Open, and I was on YouTube for about, 9 months at that point, almost a year. I probably had about 10,000 subscribers, and I was seeing people that had bigger channels than me, and I was excited to kind of maybe chat with them, and I've watched so many of their videos, and I left kind of disappointed. They didn't even acknowledge me. They didn't they kind of acknowledged me in a couple situations, but one girl walked away, and I was like, okay. And then another girl, she kind of acknowledged me, but didn't. I mean, it was just kind of the, oh yeah, hi, how's it going? And it was just very, and I'm confident that there are people that meet me at thrift stores and go oh, she didn't talk enough, or she seemed really distracted, or she didn't seem like she was on videos. There's a lot of pressure when you are going to meet just people from online. And I think especially in thrift stores or at the bins, I'm really there to work. And if someone comes up to me, I'm so appreciative of that. It's way better if someone comes up and says hello than if I just get the awkward stares of people, which happens a lot. So I really appreciate when people come and say hello. And most people are so nice. But the commonality is if you've watched multiple of my videos, if you know the name of my dog, what city I live in, the inside of my house, that I go car camping, I got my real estate license, all these, my dad just passed away, breakups I've had, all this personal stuff. And then I meet you and I know nothing about you. It's a weird dynamic. I've talked about this with my therapist because I'm I don't know how to process this. And again, I'm not complaining. Most people, it's amazing to just have conversations, even if they're short, because I do need to kind of get back to work. I hear something about them, they're doing it part-time to get a little extra money, or they just went full-time and they're working really hard. And it's just really nice to be part of the community. But there is a weird dynamic there that's imbalanced. And so I think the one thing I've learned that I wish I knew when I was at eBay Open is how many messages people get. So I just changed my Instagram settings so that people couldn't respond my stories, because I felt like every time I posted a story, I would get 25 responses. And it was feeling overwhelming. And I calculated 1 week I got 1,000 messages between comments and Instagram messages. And it was overwhelming me. I don't know how I'm supposed to get to all of this. And I think there's a lot of guilt. You're not doing enough. You're not responding to enough. You're not answering every question. And it gets to this point where it's I did not realize that this was what it was going to be like. And some people would say, well, just like you should have thick skin and you should be able to deal with negative comments, that this is this is part of the job. Yeah, but we don't have security. We're not making all that much at this level of the YouTube game. We're just kind of average people just sharing little tidbits of our business and things that we're picking up from our at-home business. So again, I don't think I want to continue meeting people out and about. I just wish that when I was early in my days that I knew what it was like on the other side. And I don't think you'll really ever know until you're on that side and then you go, whoa, this is intense. It's intense. So anyways, that's kind of the background story. I did jot down some notes. I will not tolerate people who lie and who abuse the trust that I do have a public real estate information out there. I will not tolerate that. And it like, to me, that's like the most common sense thing. And someone just violated that trust and now I'm creeped out, now I don't feel safe, and that's not okay. It is part of it, but again, all we can do is just try to be honest and truthful, and I still can sleep at night because I know I did just that. But this person absolutely crossed a line. So reselling YouTubers that I think give me the vibe that they're maybe taking advantage of people or not there for the right reasons. There are some people on YouTube that I don't really like their content, but I think they're a decent person. Maybe it's that I don't really pick up what they pick up, or maybe it's that I think their videos are too short or too long. I don't watch shorts or reels or any of that kind of stuff because I don't like short form content. So if someone makes a lot of short form content, I'm just not watching their content. It's nothing against them. It's just not the kind of content I watch. Or maybe it's just something like, I don't know, the pace of their videos, or maybe they're just doing, for fun. And I'm not learning anything, but it doesn't make them a bad person. So you can have your preferences with YouTubers, but I do think there are some things that when I notice a person checks off a lot of these boxes, I sit there and go, are they on YouTube to just take, or are they also trying to give? Are they honest? Are they fair? So I would say the first one is if someone does, I don't know, because I can think of examples of good people in probably all these situations. I would say personally, I would never buy from someone directly unless there is buyer protection on a platform. And that's just because, unfortunately, if you've been in the community for more than a month, you've probably heard of some of the horror stories of people buying things and not getting what they expected. And, this can go into mystery boxes. This can go into lots of different things. Even just an item that, so I heard some girl was selling things directly off of her Instagram. I don't know who it was. And she took money off of, what's the app? Is it Venmo? So people were Venmoing her money, and then she didn't ship the items, and then she closed out her accounts or something like that. I don't know. I feel like this was like 6 months ago, so I'm not sure on all the details. But I would just say the safest thing is just to always buy from a platform that has buyer protection. Because even if it's someone that you think you can trust on YouTube, again, I think I'm pretty trustworthy. I think there are a lot of trustworthy people. You just never know. And at least if there's buyer protection, you can open up claims, and hopefully they will do the right thing on the platform. And I think this is most of them. I don't know whatnot on their return policy and how that process is. I have read some comments where people were like, it's not very clear, but hopefully they do have some process to protect buyers. So even there, I would say, if you're not happy, just return it or open up a case or, whatever the process is. But go to them on that platform if that's where you're buying it, not their Instagram, not their YouTube comments, just because that's the responsible thing to do. So there's some other things that I think if someone has one of these things, I don't think it's bad. I think there's definitely some people I've watched on YouTube and I want to support them because I've learned from them. And no one in the reselling space per se. But reselling, most of the time, if you just want to support someone, you could just buy something from them. And hopefully, again, on a platform with buyer protection. But let's say you learned a lot, you want to support them. There are lots of ways to do that. I just added a buy me a coffee link, which I feel like I want to thank people, which I'll probably do that in my personal chat so I can pull it up and thank some people who have bought me coffees, which is basically just like buy Luna dog treats because that's all that is going to. But I did add that a few months ago because I did have some people asking like, hey, I'd love to support you. I don't really want to buy anything. it's not something I push. It's not something I really talk about unless I bring it up because I want to, you know, thank people for buying coffees. But I get that. I get that maybe you want to buy a cooking book from someone on YouTube to support them and all the work that they're doing and all the videos you've watched. Or maybe you want to send something to someone's P.O. box. I don't get a lot of P.O. box stuff. I've gotten some thank you cards. I've gotten a couple odds and ends. But, you know, I see YouTubers get, you know, full on packages, like package files of stuff from viewers. And I think, again, it's like if someone just wants to do something like that, I don't think there's anything wrong. But I do have issues with someone who does every single thing to ask viewers. So they have a cheap course that they spent 8 hours on and they're charging $50 for the course. And it's probably not all that helpful or needed. Not to say all courses or all people, but I would say yeah. Or Patreon on YouTube. I've never turned that on. I don't knock people because, again, I know there's some content there. Like, I think one of the things is if you have a Patreon and you offer some maybe like one-on-one support for people or something along those lines, I can see why someone would maybe want to pay for that. You know, I mean, I just did a video on Whatnot and why I didn't want to sell on it because it felt like I was just going to be selling to viewers and asking for viewers to come shop for me. It's just not something I'm comfortable with. But I don't think every Whatnot seller is terrible. I've got friends. It's got a little mark. I've got friends who do it, and they're good people. You know, it's just a different platform and personal preference. But I do think that when someone has all of it, you know, buy me the coffee, Patreon, I'm selling this course, I'm shoving this down your throat of buy this course, and hey, buy stuff from my sale and buy these mystery boxes, and they're constantly asking. I do have some red flags. It's like, I guess it kind of goes into, does someone want to be an influencer or do they want to be a reseller? And it's fine if someone wants to be an influencer, but if people are following you because of your reselling journey, then I think that's where I feel most comfortable, is sharing my reselling journey. And I don't know, I just get this feeling of like, there's just those people, or the people that make, you know, videos all the time and they kind of throw out big numbers. This is a big one. People who maybe aren't as transparent with things, I don't really trust. An example, someone maybe puts up all bins videos or mostly bins videos, but then most of their sales on their Poshmark or eBay is new with tags, wholesale stuff. To me, it's like, okay, what is the main part of your business, and are you doing videos that are accurate to your business? And not to say you have to. You could just enjoy going to the bins every once in a while. But it just gives me weirdness. And I think that that's okay. But there's people who are kind of flashing big numbers. We all want people to click on things. Like, I don't knock people for trying to just have a thumbnail that people will click on. That's kind of how YouTube works. But when it's people who are kind of like, I'm $1 million seller. I don't know who that is. I know there's a few, but, and then they make daily videos, and I don't really like, are you really doing this? Or are you just making YouTube content? Are you just selling a course and that's like what you want your livelihood to be? I don't know. So for me, I understand we all have a right to kind of run our business differently, especially if we have a YouTube channel and it's kind of a very public way. You know, all my sales are public. I don't hide anything. I make mistakes, like I've said a million times. I try not to make that many. You know, I have a process. I share how I work often so people can see this is how I lint roll and this is how I steam and this is, you know, but I do think that YouTube is a tricky space. It's like, on one hand, if you watch some channel and it's like how to grow your YouTube channel, it says like find all these ways to monetize your viewers. And it's like, well, maybe find one or two, but you don't have to do them all. You just don't. Because to me, then I feel like that person is just trying to monetize their viewers and they don't really care about, you know, anything else. And that's, to me, so like I said, the one girl that was selling things on Instagram and then people bought the stuff and then she closed up shop and she took their Venmo money and they had no way of like, that was before the Venmo thing where they changed it, that there was, I don't know, some protection, but like that's a scammy person. I don't follow a lot of resellers on YouTube. There are some people that I just think that, like, again, you don't have to like everyone. And you don't even have to tell us when you don't like us, because it's just personal preference. I've never, ever gone to someone on YouTube and said, like, I'm going to unsubscribe from you because I didn't like that you said this or you did this. If I'm just going to unsubscribe, just unsubscribe. Because at the end of the day, it probably doesn't really matter too much. If enough people unsubscribe from them, I'm sure they will take notice. Is that my timer? No, that's... Oh, I did. I set another timer down here. Oh, geez. When my camera wasn't working, I set another timer. So that one went off. No, I still have 10 minutes left. Oh, my gosh. Anyways, so... yeah. Let's see. Healthy expectations of resellers on YouTube or on social media, because this can go into Instagram as well, since some people have really large Instagram followings and maybe they aren't on YouTube. I think the healthy expectations are that if we don't respond to every message or like every message, or if it seems very one-sided, that's probably because it is, but it's not personal. And it's funny, I just sent out some, I just sent out some messages on Instagram to some people I don't follow. And on Instagram, if there's a thing called message requests. And so if maybe the person doesn't follow you and you don't follow them, maybe their first message will go into your message requests. And so unless you check that often, which I check it like once or twice a month, then I won't see any new messages right away. Again, I'm just trying to have good work-life balance. I'm trying to stay, focused on working. This is my main part of my job, or at least 50% of my job is reselling. So I can't, I can't be on Instagram all the time. Anyways, so I sent these messages out for a personal reason. Yeah. Anyways, so it was an invite on behalf of someone else. And a couple of the people, they never checked my message. And a month went by and I had to tell the person who I was sending these invites out for, hey, these people never opened my message and they didn't get the invite. So can you maybe just let them know, hey, check your messages. This person sent you. Anyways, in this situation, I'm like, wow, I would say almost all of them that I don't follow did not get my message. And so I know I'm not the only one. And I guess that made me feel partly better or less guilty, is I know that there are people with much larger Instagram followings than me and much larger YouTube channels, not too much in the reselling space. The reselling niche is very small. And so I do think I have a reasonably large channel in reselling. But in comparison to YouTube channels in general, I have a very, mid-level, mid-range, not big by any means channel. Anyways, I think that having healthy expectations of there are moments where we're out in public and maybe we're just a little out of it, especially resellers, and we're just working, we're thrifting, and we're caught off guard when someone says hello. It's nothing to say you shouldn't say hello. It's again better than just staring, but we are just kind of reacting in a weird way. So, and it's nothing against you or anyone else. It's just it's a weird moment to just be stopped by a stranger and not know exactly where the conversation's going. Let's see, what else today? This is a big one. So as I told you about the eBay Open thing, I swear when I first started reselling, I watched a couple people and I was like, oh, I could be best friends with them. I watched every video of theirs. I knew everything about them that they shared. That's the other thing. We don't share everything in our lives. So although it seems like we share quite a bit, there's a lot that we don't show. It's an edited version of ourselves, public selves. But anyways, there were a couple people that I watched loyally, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I ever see them at Posh Fest or eBay Open, I'm never going to Posh Fest, but eBay Open, I want to say hi to them. Maybe we'll grab coffee. I just had these expectations that maybe we could be friends. And then I realized on this side, I will probably never be friends with those people because they are overwhelmed by people like me who want to be friends with them. And I don't watch them anymore or follow them anymore. But at the time, it was I really thought that I had a personality that would mesh well with them. And funny enough, those people I've never talked to, even having somewhat of a social media presence. And I don't think they feel the same about me. And I actually, I think it's just because you start watching people on YouTube and you have this commonality like reselling, and then it just seems like, oh, they seem helpful, they seem nice. I think the harsh reality is we may never be friends. And that's not a bad thing, as long as you have the expectation that we may never be friends. I'm never going to be friends with most people I talk to on YouTube. So it's warm. It's warm. I know people ask about air conditioning. I just looked it up the other day. The average temperature in our hottest month, which is July, in where I live, is 86 degrees. Do we have hotter days? Yes. Today's 91. But there's a lot of cities in the world, like the UK, where they don't have air conditioning and then they have heat waves. So anyways, and also to the two people that said I've got early menopause. No, I was diagnosed with a medical condition called hyperhidrosis in my 20s. I'm now 40. I had signs of it in my teens. This is not related to early menopause. That's always been a weird dynamic when people want to give you a medical diagnosis on YouTube, but I digress. Anyways, so what else? So I think like kind of goes hand in hand with we may never be friends, and that's okay. What are you watching for? Are you watching for entertainment? Are you watching because you get a little value of how I process things, brands I pick up, how things are selling, the behind the scenes of my business that I'm sharing on YouTube? Are you watching to just have that entertainment and possible knowledge, small bits of knowledge? Or are you watching because you expect something in return? In which case, I think that's the part that is not okay. Because it's just, it's not realistic. And I don't think it's fair to put those expectations on a random person on the internet. Yeah, but again, I guess this goes into, is that a little spot? That's a little spot. Got a couple things of stain treatment. Not bad. But I think that, having that understanding, or even just trying to understand that, again, my average videos right now are 14,000 views. It's a very weird dynamic to think if I were in an auditorium, like giving a public speech. Obviously, I hope I would look better than this. But to go up in front of 14,000 people every 5 days, which is approximately how often I do videos, and have all those people staring at you and see your every move and bad angles and, bad hair days and stuff like that. I think it's an overwhelming feeling. And I think the weird thing about the internet is that you really don't ever see the 14,000 people. You just see the numbers piling up of views. But that is a lot of people that may have that same feeling of feeling like they could be my friend. And I probably will never meet most of the 14,000 people, approximately, if that makes sense. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. I'm so thankful for YouTube. There's so much more positive than negative. But I think when you have a situation like the woman calling my real estate line and lying, and she's calling about a $21 purchase where I fully disclosed everything, I do lose sleep over that. I do go, what am I doing? There are people out there that think that's okay. And that's not okay. And, you see the stories of, like, I'll take like celebrity stalkers and like the great lengths they'll go to. And it's like, they think that they were soulmates with someone. And I'm not saying I'm like a celebrity in that sense, but there is a similar dynamic or similar feeling that happens in YouTube, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So I would say I personally don't follow anyone that I think is taking advantage of people. I don't care if someone gives good advice or good tips here and there. If they have intentionally misled people, scammed people, lied to people, and I'm talking YouTubers, there will be no support from me ever in my life. And I'm not going to bash them. I'm not going to ever get involved. I think just like let people do whatever they want. But just because someone, it's kind of like, I guess an example would be like, just because if you're in an unhealthy relationship and there's some good days, doesn't make those good days worth it if you also you're being beaten, 1 day a week. So I don't think the good outweighs the bad. I think while we're all human and we all deserve to make mistakes occasionally and we're imperfect, I think that if there's someone on YouTube in the reselling space that gives you the feeling that they're just trying to take and lie and deceive and, you know, in any way, shape, or form, just, you know, do you really want to support that person? And I can't say that, who you should or shouldn't follow. I can just say that, you know, it's okay to unfollow people. It's okay when people unfollow me. My feelings are not hurt. Sometimes it's like you just watch someone long enough until you get what you need from them and then you move on. And there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I think, you know, hopefully the goal on YouTube is that you continue to make content that people will want to watch. And there's a lot of pressure with that. But that's what hopefully makes it interesting and enjoyable, is that. So, I didn't have okay, the timer went off, but it was quiet. So, okay, so we are going to stop this steam bath and we're going to go downstairs, sit with the dog, and I'll check in about personal life and all that fun jazz. All right, what time is it? 15-minute break. I have matcha green tea latte in here. And I also have some lemonade. Right, dog? I know. I'll play with you later. I know. So it's breezy out here, but I have my mic on that's got some, hopefully preventing too much of a wind sound. But, so I'm so excited. My second channel, which I neglected for a few months, which is City Girl Unplugged, my car camping channel. I finally got a video up there. I have 3 more I have footage for 3 more videos. And, so yeah, hopefully I will get one out every couple weeks, and but it feels good to just get one up. It was from a trip like 6 months ago, and it was funny to go through the footage going like, oh yeah, that's right. Anyways, so that's my second channel update. My third channel, people ask about real estate. So obviously you heard about the real estate phone number fiasco. I need to get a real estate video up soon. It's been about a month. And unfortunately, because I've been doing all this organization and trying to get things in order with reselling and just my house, I kind of put that on the back burner. Also because the real estate right now is a very unstable time. If you've watched any videos or any articles, read any articles about it, it's a weird time. It's kind of changing from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And there's a lot of buyers that are uncertain about buying right now. And since I pretty much only deal with buyers, I just took this opportunity as, okay, time to get my life in order. And then hopefully when things settle down a little bit, I'll get some videos up. But I do have plans to film one, hopefully this week. It's kind of on the communities here. So like I live in the greater Tehachapi area, but Tehachapi City is actually almost 30 minutes from me. And we're a very widespread area, but we've got areas like 5, 6, 7 main areas. And a lot of people are just curious about the different communities, what they're like, what they have to offer, why you would want to live in one over the other. One has an HOA, so, you know, monthly fees, but they have a golf course, and it's gated. And some people like that, but there's a lot of us that don't want that. And so kind of talking about the pros and cons to each community. And so I want to do that video. It's just a matter of getting footage in all the communities and driving around. So I do have a plan where someone else is going to drive, and I'm going to hopefully get that footage. Fingers crossed I can get that video up this week. We will see. It's on my list. Someone asked for a garden update. I don't know what has happened. I'm watering every couple days, so not overwatering, not underwatering. I feel like my plants are just like, they're there, they're not dead, but they're not growing. And I know I'm just going to keep watering. This season was truly a test of, did my rodent control by wrapping the outside of my garden, did that work? Maybe I'll try and insert a little B-roll here so you can see how my plants are doing. But we have a later start here because we do have a true winter. And so we're growing region, we have 2 growing regions. We're Mediterranean climate. Most of it, unless you're really high elevation here, which is most of us don't live in that high of elevation. I'm at 4,500 elevation, and I think am I 9A or 9B? I can't remember. I think I'm 9A. Anyways, so I can't really plant until after Mother's Day, and this year we had some freezes after Mother's Day, so hard freezes. And so yeah, so this year it was just, can I can I keep things planted without the rodents coming and snatching it all up? And so far, so good. I think something's still getting in, but I do have a couple little holes that I have to fill or work with. But yeah. Ooh, UPS driver. I don't think am I getting something today? No. I do have something I ordered, but it's not coming until Thursday. I usually only order something. I did just cancel my Amazon Prime account because I really only order like one order a month. I'm not an online shopper in any way, shape, or form. Here it's helpful at times, especially during COVID. It was helpful because I could order things and not have to go to the grocery store like all the time. But yeah, I don't really order that much. I don't buy that much. So I canceled my Prime membership. I also don't use Prime Music or movies. So I finally canceled it. But I did order something that had free shipping, and that's coming on Thursday. But yeah, so what was I talking about? Sometimes I wonder how I survive these chatty work with me's. I can't stay focused. So yeah, the garden, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, maybe it'll just start growing like crazy. I don't know, but I am going to plant some things to hopefully keep going into fall and winter and see how things go. I have 2 of the 3 garden beds filled, and the one, it's just a cost of dirt. So I just wanted to fill out 2 of them and see how things worked. And yeah, there's a couple dead ones I should probably pull. I don't know. It's a learning experience. So, but I know some people have asked for a garden update, and I have 0 fruit or veggies. Actually, I have some radishes. I think those are okay, and I think I might be able to harvest those soon, but that's about it. I'm going to keep trying. What else do I have? I already talked about the weather. Yeah, I mean, geez, it's kind of the hottest time of year here. August isn't that much better, but once we get into September, it starts dropping, and then October is where it's really golden. So we really only have 4 months of sunshine, or we have a lot of sunshine here. We only have 4 months of warm weather here. So like compared to LA or San Diego or the 2 cities that are on each side of the mountain from us, which is Lancaster and Bakersfield, like, you know, I mean, most of Southern California is warm year round. We only have warm weather about 4 months out of the year, and we almost never get over 90. Again, the average temp for July, which is the hottest month, is 86. Yes, there are some heat waves, but that's anywhere. I mean, I like the average temps in Vegas this same month are like 110 or something around there. And so it's definitely like, I will get an air conditioner someday, but it's also just like, it's really would only be used a few months, or not even a few months out of the year. It would only be because I wouldn't want to run it. Like, there's a cost to air conditioners as well. So I would still keep my doors and windows open when I could, and probably only use it a few weeks out of the year. And it's a big expense for one person. And I know I've talked about this before, A-frames with a whole side of my house being windows, it's very hard to cool the high pitch. So that's why I get warm. Hyperhidrosis, and it's just a warmer time of year in my house. Also, there were a couple people that messaged me that have hyperhidrosis. If you didn't watch my last chatty work with me, I think I talked about it in the last 15 minutes, but it is just a condition where it's a lot of people. It's like 3 million people in the US or something crazy like that have this condition. Some people, they only have it in a specific area, like maybe their hands sweat a lot. Or maybe, armpits, which is pretty common, but like just excessively. So it basically just means that your body is trying to cool yourself down, but you could be overheating when it's not even hot outside. And there are ways, if it's a focal hyperhidrosis, there are ways that you can, like Botox can be helpful. There's some treatments that you can do. There's some surgeries, but mine only got worse when I moved out of San Francisco, which was 5 years ago. And was that 5 years ago? No, that was 4 years ago. 4.5 years ago, whatever. Because San Francisco doesn't really have any hot weather. Like, they have an occasional heat wave, but it almost never goes over 70 there. And so I didn't experience any heat. I would travel for business trips to some humid climates. Like, that's the other thing. We don't have humidity here, which I'm thankful for, but I would take some work trips, and I really struggled. So this has been something I've been dealing with again, the early signs were when I was 16, when I first talked about it with a doctor. I didn't know the condition at the time, but I just talked about, I don't think this is normal. And I'm 40 now, so this is something I've been dealing with a lot. But a couple people messaged me and said they have it too, and they really appreciated that I said something about it. And I do think there's kind of a stigma with it, and that's not what this channel is about. But I do think that if I'm sharing my avocado toast on Instagram, or the dog at times, I know my dog, she's just enjoying the breeze. We do have a nice cross breeze here, and I do a lot of work outside in the summer because it's so nice. But anyways, I appreciate that a couple people messaged me, and I do hope it helps. And if you do struggle where you think that maybe you sweat excessively, talk to your doctor about it. There are some solutions depending on you, and you might have that condition, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just we get a little hot, and it has nothing to do with menopause. I don't know why that, those two people, oh, someone has early menopause, that person got blocked right away. I'm like, no, that's not what it is, but thanks. Thanks for me trying to be honest, and it's part of being online. I get it, but it's a weird thing. The good news about Luna is this Friday, I'm actually going to try out a dog sitter. I don't think I'm going to go too far. Not a dog sitter. Someone to come to my house to let her out, to refill her water, play with her for a little bit. I think it's going to be like a 20 to 30 minute visit. I live in a pretty hilly area. Like when I take her on walks, it's a hard walk. Even just getting on my street, it's pretty steep. So I don't have a lot of dog walkers or anything, but I did find someone that's basically like 3 streets away, which is very close because everyone here has 2 to 5 acres. And I've been talking to her on Nextdoor, and we're going to try out Friday and see if she does okay with coming and checking on Luna. And if that works, then that means I kind of have a solution for Luna. I still want to get the doggy door that's got the electric to keep the wildlife out. And I'm hoping after this summer slowdown of sales, I'm hoping that I can get that, in the next couple months. But if I can have a dog sitter to just come in and check on her, make sure she's got water, some food, and just so she's not alone for, 10 hours out of the day, then I can start going to the bins again and to LA again, because I have not been able to go thrifting normally, and that's been challenging. What else? I know I have a couple minutes left. I think I've said this. I used to work at a coffee shop. I love these drinks because I don't know if it's going to show. Can you see? It's like super green. It's made with matcha. I used to make these while working at a coffee shop, and it was one of my favorite drinks. And you can buy the matcha online. I did have a company reach out to me one time, and they were going to sponsor one of my videos. And I was like, oh, great. I love matcha. Like, this is perfect. Because I only take sponsorships I believe in. So I was just so excited. And then that fell through because that was just not a great sponsorship opportunity. They ended up not being great. But it is so cheap. Like, you would probably pay, I would probably pay $5 to $6 for this at Starbucks for like a grande matcha tea latte, green tea latte. And I can make it at home for like $1.50 with, your milk of choice, a little bit of stevia. Anyways, I don't really have, you basically get the matcha powder online, and you can add like a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half, depending on how much you're going to make. And you mix that in with just a little bit of water. I have a little, what is it called? It's like it's not a little blender, but it's like this little push thing. You put it in a cup. Oh, geez. It's like moves around. Anyways, if I can remember to look it up, I'll put it on the screen what the name is. But anyways, I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but that's Chatty work with me. They turned me into a psycho. So it's the matcha that can be a little expensive, but you use so little, and then you add it with a little bit of water so the powder kind of disintegrates. And then you put your milk in, leave a little room for some ice cubes, and like I said, like a little bit of stevia or sweetener of your choice. And it is so good. It's one of my favorite drinks. So that's what I am enjoying right now. What else is new? My family's doing really well. It's summertime for my nieces. So one has been out of the state, and family is cycling to go stay with her. It's for a long summer camp. And then the other one is busy with her activities as well. They're both very active kids. One's 13 and one's 14. And yeah, so it's part of my family's been traveling quite a bit, dealing with that this summer. So I'm looking forward to the fall when we can have more family barbecues and stuff, because we were doing a lot of that in this the earlier part of the year. And yeah, so they're all doing well. One of my sisters is a teacher, so she's going back to school soon. California schools, I don't remember when her school starts again, but I think it's early August. I feel like when I was a kid, I remember I remember having longer summers, but now I feel like summers are shorter. I think it depends on where you live in the country, but here a lot of schools go back in early August, which just seems way too soon. But what else? I am hoping to go camping again, hopefully in a week or two. And I do have a girls' night this Saturday with some friends. And so we're going to go out and have a glass of wine and a bite to eat, and just have an excuse to go do something fun. So that's basically it. But I hope this wasn't too ranty of a chatty work with me. There are so many days where I'm pulling all my YouTube down because I am uncomfortable with aspects, but then I also know the majority of people are so nice, and the majority of comments and interactions in person, and I am so thankful for it, but it's a hard thing to navigate at times, and I don't think you can really prepare for it. But on that note, Doug, she's over here snoozing. We're gonna play for a little bit, and then I need to get some of those photos done. I got most of my steaming done, which was great. So anyways, thanks for always watching. If you're here still, I'll be back with another video. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. I have a couple fun videos coming up. One that I worked really hard on for multiple days, and that one will come out soon. And I don't want to spoil it. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.